So listen to this. We should actually put it out there. Like to say we keep 100. Let's invite the Lucha blog guy on.
He's not going to come on.
But we
He's
invite
like Dave Meltzer. He's not going to come on, bro. We hate each other as much as Vince and Dave. I've buried him for years, bro. I mean, for years, as worse as I've buried anybody worse than Joe.
Interesting. Worse than Joe.
Worse than Joe.
Wow.
Kim, bro. You want to come at me like a gonna get? Doesn't matter who it is.
Going in.
Their tweets have the snippy, snide quality most of the time. You know, you don't seem
it's all anti AAA, and they think they know more than me, and they get people on the bandwagon to my booking.
Well, it is. It's unbelievable that that is a characteristic of the dirt sheet class.
Right.
They're very. But
then when you throw back, they out.
But they kind of I can I'm gonna put myself in their shoes.
Right.
Okay. They're trying to it's kind of like the mainstream media. We're like basically saying that they're the media is the enemy of the people. Right. So we're kind of like attacking their credibility compared to ours. But it's like, we have more credibility.
Right.
We've actually been like, and so, but their defense mechanism, because they have a vast audience of people that looks to them as like the news and the experts.
Right.
Instead of,
how could they be more of an expert that somebody's been in the business 30 years?
But I'm just saying that that's their defense mechanism, is to attack back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're just trying to say, like, look, you guys that have never wrestled before, never trained before, and never been behind the curtain, I'm sorry, but whatever perspective you have, there's a huge piece of the pie missing out of your narrative.
Right.
Okay, because you don't have that vast experience that we have. And we're saying, like, we've literally done everything, booking, wrestling, right, all of it.
Promoting everything.
You guys haven't really done any of it except as a viewer, a voyeur of what we've done in front of you on TV and stuff. Like, nothing about, like, you've not viewed anything behind the curtain. You've not sat in on the conversations.
I'll give you a perfect example. Tony, if he didn't have his own company, would be part of that community, right?
Right.
He was.
And this shows what happens when a fanboy takes over a show.
Right. Yeah. He didn't really get it. He bypassed all the training.
Right.
Like everything, it's just like bought in, hired a bunch of guys, and just like said, I'm gonna run the wrestling company.
I've read this from Dave Meltzer at least 2 or 3 times. He writes a story where Paul Bosch, which was a famous promoter in Houston, and very successful, he asked the people what matches they wanted, and they didn't draw. Because you gotta think of making money. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Since I took a booking course at the Monster Factory, does that mean I'm more qualified than Tony Khan was on day one?
No.
Who's the timeout? Who taught the course?
Danny Cage of the Monster Factory.
Who?
That's exactly. So
guy that never. Yeah.
If you had taken a course, if you had taken I'll say
where'd he
this.
book?
Okay.
The Monster Factory.
I'll say this: when I've trained amateur wrestle, people training to wrestle.
Yes.
Right.
Like people off the streets. Like when I was doing regular training once a week, there'd be guys like a new person class. It's their first day of class. Okay. But these people were actually getting hands-on training from I'm not saying I'm certified, but obviously I'm an expert at wrestling because I was training the people, and I've done it at a high level. I would say
you've trained guys like Kevin Cross,
and I trained some of these guys for 2 to 3 months at a time. I would say those people have more knowledge of a lot of the dirt sheet guys, even though they're just like nobody's up to date, because they actually started and tried to learn the art, which a lot of these dirt sheet guys have never done.
Okay, let me just say this, Joe. Mm-hmm. This may come off as disparaging, but trust me, it isn't. If I were to go to a booking school, Danny Cage would not be the guy I would go to. All right? I'd go to Vince Russo. I'd go to Kevin Sullivan. I've had people, you know what I'm saying?
Let me just
Paul Heyman.
For Danny's, just to put Danny over a little bit, the guys that
he might be a fine gentleman. I'm just saying, when I go, if I'm thinking I'm going to a booking course, that's not the guy I would go to, but
because
go ahead.
It's not as well known. But no, he has trained Riddle and Priest and QT.
So how does that make him a good booker?
I'm not saying it makes him a good booker. I'm saying he does have knowledge, though.
Okay, so he trains people. Yeah. But how does that make him a good booker?
It doesn't.
Right.
It does.
No,
All right.
Joe,
that leads me to
Joe, let me make a point of the perspective that what me and Conan are specifically talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. We have done it at like there's levels to professional wrestling. There's indies, there's GCW, there's MLW, there's Impact, then there's AEW and WWE. Okay. The people with the highest level of experience are the people that have done it at the WWE. Okay, me and Conan have done it at WCW at the time, which is also a #1 company for an extended period of time on television.
Right.
We did it, for vast millions of people. Like the product that we were involved in was on weekly national television, broadcasted to millions of people.
Plus, you learn from some of the best, Dutch Mantel and
Jeff Jarrett and stuff.
Right.
But I'm saying that's the level of like people like that. Dirt sheet guys should not look at people like me and Conan and stuff with the lack of respect for the knowledge that we have.
I don't disagree.
We have the knowledge at the highest level.
And not only that, bro, I booked AAA during their golden years, during their boom periods, and right now, dude, since January, since January, all of our TVs have been 90% to full.
Yeah. And plus, too, it's like there's a couple guys at work that watch the shows on a weekly basis. And this kid will come and talk to me, and like he'll talk about some of the storylines and everything. Bro, I look at that guy that I work with he's a regular watcher of shows. I look at him as just like the same level of knowledge as these guys. Because they're just fans that watch a show, and he's got some good ideas and like good takes on it and stuff and thing. But it's just, bro, it's still a fan's perspective, So
well, if someone without booking experience, right? You guys say really couldn't come in and understand how to book a show. I would respond to that by saying when Vince Russo started with creative at WWE, all he'd ever done is written articles. He had never been in a creative position in wrestling. Eric, when he started with the NWO and WCW.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Joe.
Yeah.
He had Pat Patterson and Michael Hayes and Bruce Pritchard around him to learn from. Same thing from Eric. He went in there and he had Kevin Sullivan and Terry Taylor and, Hogan and all the other guys. You know what I'm saying?
Paul and Nash.
Right.
I guess my question would be,
Joe, let me make a perfect point here.
Sure.
Remember when I was back in 2007, 2008 and stuff when I was writing for WrestleZone?
Yes.
Okay, and I was doing those weekly shows with Chris Cash, whatever. Bro, I literally told people, if you think you know how to write a show, submit a written show.
Uh-huh.
Okay, like 15 people sent in a written show. One of them was passable. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody knew how to do it. You know what I'm saying? But people act like they know how to do it and think they can do it, and you're just looking like the format sheet and everything. They have no clue what they're doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but they think they do, because they can put pen to paper,
Right.
So.
And they've watched, and it doesn't take a genius to book Austin versus Rock or whatever, let's say. But I guess my question would be, where would the next generation of creative, because you call them creative now, bookers or whatever, come in wrestling? There's not a school, there's not a course, and the guys that have decades of experience, I mean, how many's left? We just lost Kevin Sullivan.
Well, the thing is that you get picked from, I'll give you an example. Gabe Sapolsky, who learned from Paul Heyman, was picked by WWE to go there, right? And he had Evolve, which had a lot of stars, and he still, so I think you got to get guys from underneath. So like Jimmy Jacobs.
That's a name I was going to say. But perfect example. You understand this too, Joe.
Yeah.
It's just like, how it's like coaches in the NFL. All right. You look at a player and you say, wow, Tom Brady would probably be a great coach someday. Tom Brady doesn't want to coach though.
Right.
Like the booker job is a difficult job that not a lot of people want to do. Because it's a lot of work, trying to figure out angles for everybody and everything. So there's usually
you get a lot of heat from the boys.
So there's usually only a handful of the boys that even have that on their bingo card as something they even want to try.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how small the group is.
Because they see how stressful it is, bro.
Exactly.
You got to put up with a lot of
100%.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the
That would be the worst part of it, basically, is dealing with personal riffs and complaints and guys going behind your back. He doesn't know how to book and all that, I would imagine, is the most annoying, difficult part, but that's just what I speculate.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.